super tech. Gets his jobs done before 4. He's a super tech. Never calls tech support.
Hey you guys, today we're gonna do a quick tip video. This is for the Trane downflows with the enclosed burner box. A lot of times you're not gonna have enough room to take those screws out. So here's a little tip. You can take the screws off from the corner on the bottom of the furnace, and that will give you enough room to get access to those screws. Like in this little video here, you take one corner right here and the door's already off, so you take that screw off, then you take the other one from the other side off, and as you can see, that bottom shelf dropped, and now you have plenty of room to put your screws in and put the door back in place. See, there's enough room right there. Put that door back on properly, push it in, get all the screws on in there, and then make it nice and tight. Next, sometimes you come across the two-stage, so you have a W1 and W2. Sometimes you might lose your three-prong jumper, or you might not have a jumper that you can use to do a two-stage furnace. What you can do is grab a piece of thermostat wire and then do a jumper between W1 and W2. So what's gonna happen, the unit is gonna start on W1, and then it'll usually set up for after 10 minutes it will jump into second stage. Obviously you don't want to wait all that 10 minutes for it to go to second stage, so there is a trick that you can jump it and change the timing so you don't have to wait so long. What you need to look for on the board is the SW1. Look in the schematics. So in here you can see it on this board. It's on the one on top. So the one on top will actually control how long before second stage kicks in. SW2, that one will control how long will the blower will run after the thermostat is satisfied. Most of the times you don't need to adjust that, so you can keep that on factory. You'll come across a lot of units may not have a two-stage thermostat, and you'll see that W1 and W2 are jumped. So this is another way that you can also check the second stage without having to wait 10 minutes. By factory, as you can see here, it's on 10 minutes. So the way that you do this, you find the switch, and there's a 1 and a 2 and an on and off. So normally it should be an off. Sometimes be on, but most of the times it's on off. So you have to make sure there's no power to the unit, and then you find the switch, and then you put whatever combination you want. So in this case we want to do the on off, which will cause second stage to kick within 30 seconds of the system starting. So you look for the board, there's W1 and W2. I just use my pen and I'll switch it, make sure they're on the proper area, and then go ahead and grab in this case I'm gonna use my triple jumper, but a lot of times when you do this, W1 and W2 are gonna be jumped together anyways, so then you can just use your normal single jumper. Or sometimes the board is behind all the cables and it'd be really hard to jump W2 right away with the third jumper, so you might have to do a W1 W2 jumper so be safe. So next, have my meter so you can see that the blower is gonna go into second stage. Turn power on. Now you just listen to the inducer. So it's getting ready to fire up. Now time passed. Now it's about to jump into second stage. There you go. Kicked into second stage now, and now the blower should kick on, and it's gonna be already into second stage. Now you can go ahead and have it run second stage, wait about 10-12 minutes, and then you can do your temperature rise on full second stage rather than having to wait 10 minutes for first stage and then wait more time for it to be in second stage, so you can get a good temperature rise reading. Then when you're done, just go ahead, shut power to the unit, and then just do the opposite. Find the SW1 switch and then just put it back to normal, to off. Just remember to do that, because if you don't, it's gonna be running on second stage the whole time, which sometimes you might not want to do that. Next, let's say you took your temperature reading, your temperature rise, and it's on the upper or actually overheating. Make sure to check your culprits, dirty filter, make sure the blower is nice and free, there's no obstruction. Now if everything checks out good and all you need is to adjust the blower speed on these Trane boards, since they're ECM motors, have to adjust the speed by the switches. In this case, it's gonna be SW4, and you're gonna look for the number 7 and 8. Sometimes you'll see that the setting on 7 and 8 is usually on off on. I know factory should be on normal, but a lot of times you come across to where they're set on the medium low, or sometimes they have medium low and medium high, so it depends on the model number or the model of furnace. You might have different settings, but there's pretty much the same thing. Just choose whatever settings you need, and these are for heating, so if you can even put it on high, so kind of like a normal motor, how you have your black, your blue, and your red, sometimes your yellow. And if you need to adjust the blower speed, you switch those colors. In these ECM Trane motors, you just have to switch the little dip switches to whatever you need to switch it to. So after you're done, like I said earlier, don't forget to switch back your settings for your second stage. So right here, I'm gonna set it back to off on SW1. So off. So 1, 2, they're on the off position. So double check on your schematics. So off is 10 minutes. So I put it back how it should be. Next, I'm gonna just double check my blower speed. In this case, we're gonna see what was it set on. I rechecked my temperature rise, and it was on the lower end of the temperature rise range. So I know I don't need to adjust it, but I just want to see what is set on. And it's set on, so we're looking for number 7 and number 8. And in this case, number 7 is on the off position, and number 8 is gonna be on the on. 7 off, 8 on. So I'm gonna go check back to the schematics on the table, and so it's gonna be on the off on, so that means it's medium low. In this case, I don't need to adjust the speed, because a medium low, I'm still getting a temperature rise, I believe, of 42 when it's at 35 to 65. Alright, that's it for today, you guys. Stay safe out there, and I'm gonna try to keep working on these videos as much as possible to help you guys out in the field. Alright, be safe and have a good day.